Welcome to the Mexico City Grand Prix. Just 3 rounds to go. We have Mexico, Abu Dhabi, and then Brazil to decide who will be the 2020 GP4 OC champion, the last champion of this era. And of course, this is the first ever and the only time we'll have the Grand Prix being called just the Mexico City GP and not the Mexican Grand Prix. That will return from 2021. Ferrari have been superior here in Mexico, having won here 3 times, Mercedes having won here twice. So could we have someone different winning here? We shall find out. Of course, it's a short layout here in Mexico, circuit length of 4.304 kilometers, 71 laps, 17 corners. And of course, the last part of the track we go through the old baseball stadium. The lap record set by Laura Chung last season of 1:15.634. And the last round of the US Grand Prix being won by Franco López pretty comfortably in the end, you could say. Was definitely the quickest driver out of all the rest, and you can see on your screen previous 5 Mexico City winners. Joseph Williams having won here twice in 2017 and 2019. Could he win again for the 3rd time in 2020? I mean, it's not impossible. We'll have to wait and see. The tyres we'll be using for this race will be the soft tyres. And 3 practice results are on your screen right now. It was Amar Khan who was quicker than all the rest by half a second ahead of the 2 Red Bulls, and then Laura Chung for the Red Emotion 5th, and the rest of the order you can see on your screen right now. That was practice, and now this was the starting grid for the Mexican Grand Prix, and Amar Khan took pole position, beating Franco López alongside him by nearly 0.3 of a second. On the second row we have Nicolas Gal for Red Bull and George Roque 4th for Racing Point. On row 3 of the grid we have Evan Byrne for Renault and David Kupok for AlphaTauri, so a good qualifying from both drivers there. On row 4 of the grid we have Joseph Williams for McLaren and Laura Chung 8th for Ferrari. It's row 4 of the grid. On row 5 we have Franco Gamba, not the best qualifier from him, for Red Bull, and Roland Moitian 10th for Racing Point. On row 6 of the grid we have Chris Chatfield for AlphaTauri and Roberto Gamba 12th for Ferrari. On row 7 of the grid we have Gabriel Gomez for Alfa Romeo and Kirosba de Rosa 14th for McLaren. Not good qualifying from de Rosa actually either. On the 8th row of the grid we have Daniel Fraser and Amelia Wilson. A good qualifying from both of those two actually. Managing to get into Q2. Row 9 we have Jamie Griffiths, and very surprisingly Jake Galloway only 18th for Renault. A very poor qualifying from him, which is very unusual. Row 10 we have Felix Santo for Williams and Roberto Martinez for Manor, about normal for I suppose both those cars. And on the last row of the grid, surprisingly, we have Andrea Federi for Alfa Romeo and Dudu Kirby for Haas. That was the grid. And team news for this week, only one bit of team news, but it is that Rahul Patel, the current one of the drivers in with a shout of winning the GP2 Championship, will be promoted from GP2 to drive for the new Lamborghini team next season. And on your screen right now is the championship criteria for Franco López. I'm not going to read it all, you can just read it on your screen, but I'll just read the very first one. If he wins as fast as lap, he needs Car to finish 2nd to win the title, which again seems simple enough, but of course this is the OC and nothing is quite as simple as that. So there'll be no rain for this race. It will be a dry race, 0% chance of rain. So this should be very interesting. Of course, the most interesting part of this track is that how long the run is until the first corner. It is probably the longest on the calendar, so anything can happen. Slipstream is key here, as the 5 lights are coming off on the Mexico City GP. Can Mercedes win another title today? And we are underway, and Car makes a pretty good launch off the line. Car, if he gets a good enough launch, could maybe get on the inside of the first corner, but it looks like Lopez has got the jump. The Red Bull behind of Gal trying to squeeze his way through the middle here. And he's got, I think, past one of the Mercedes, and he's going to get past both, and Gal takes the lead into the first corner. What a start that is from Nicolas Gal. That is exactly what he needs. And meanwhile, Lopez battling with George Roque for 3rd position. And Roque gets past, actually, into 3rd. Lopez down to 4th. That's not the start he would have wanted. We've got a yellow flag already at the first corner. I think I saw a Ferrari missing a front wing. So something has happened. And it is 2 cars out of this race, and it's Gabriel Gomez. And there's a Haas there. I think that was of Daniel Fraser, who is out. So already chaos at the first corner. So this is on board with Gomez, and we're going to see what has happened to him. Coming to the first corner. Oh no, he was the one to blame actually. He went into the back of the Ferrari, and Fraser, did he have anything to do with it? And he was just unlucky, got caught behind Gomez's car, and yeah, that is very, very unfortunate there for Daniel Fraser. But this is the on board from Franco Gamba, who also got hit from behind as well, so he lost his rear wings. He will have to pit as well. But this is the on board from the start with Gal, who made a brilliant launch off the line. Well, he didn't get he got an okay start, I guess, but he had the slipstream from Car in front, and he just about squeezed past Lopez there, and it was almost 3 wide heading into the first corner, but Gal threading the eye of a needle, managing to make his way through and take the lead into turn 1. You can see actually the amount of fuel he's got, so it looks like he may be on a 1-stop. Meanwhile, this is Roque behind. He went around the outside of Lopez, And this is Amelia Wilson making, a late move. And he got hit from behind, I think. Was it by her teammate, Rosetta Martinez? And it looks like it was, and yep. And so he goes into the other Haas. I think that is of... yeah, he goes into the other Haas. And so both Haas drivers are out. So Dudu Kirby and Daniel Fraser out on lap 1. And this is a Wilson who also herself is now out, getting hit from behind by Jamie Griffiths. So yeah, what a chaotic start we've had at the Mexico City GP. But so that's what, 4 cars out on the first lap, I think. And so we're looking now at Lopez, who's on the back of road, trying to make the position back for P3. So they're coming down the front straight, and Lopez has got the superior speed. You can see just getting alongside the Pig Panther. And on the inside is Lopez trying to get third position back from Roque, which he does. Pretty easily done. Now he'll go back after Carr, and Carr himself, who will try and go after the race leader Gal. Meanwhile, Moichin battling into the first corner there, but Roque actually might now be under pressure, because if you get overtaken to the turn 1, you can be under pressure after that. Meanwhile, Joseph Willer trying to make a move on the inside. He's going to swap to the inside, and that is a great move by Willows if he can get it done. Can Roque keep it down the inside? And the answer is no. Willows takes the position there, takes P4, so good move there by Joseph Willows. And now Roque under pressure from the Renault behind of, I believe that is Evan Byrne, the Irishman. And we're looking at Lopez at the moment, who seems to be closing onto the back of Carr, who himself is right behind Nicolas Gal in the Red Bull. And so, as we're looking on board with Lopez heading up in towards the baseball stadium, this is added so as the crowd can get really, really close to the action. Not really much chance of overtaking in here, unfortunately. That's the kind of downside of it. But if you get a good enough run off the final corner here, then you can make an overtake into the first corner, the main spot of overtaking on this circuit. So they're heading off the final corner now, heading on towards lap 3. Carr, again, not quite close enough in the slipstream of Gal to make a move, but Lopez, however, does set the fastest lap of a 1:17.482. So he's clearly very quick at the moment, now that he's got past Roque. And could Lopez try and pass Carr and both Gal? It will be the big question. Meanwhile, we're looking at Laura Chung, who's behind Chris Chatfield in the AlphaTauri, and there's contact. And Chung tries to barge Chatfield out the way, but can't quite do it this time around. There's a big gaggle of cars behind Chung. We've got we've got Sontag and De Rosa, and I believe that's Jake Galloway as well. Meanwhile, this is actually Lopez, who's caught up to the back of Carr now, who still hasn't been able to get past Gal, and well, maybe team orders here, but they're both in for the fight for the championship. But Lopez is now on the inside of Carr, heading up towards turn 1, and he's going to make the move stick, is he? Yes, and he does. So Carr lets him through, so now Lopez will be given full reign to go after Nicolas Gal, leader of this race. And meanwhile, Moichin and Evan Byrne battling for 6th position here. They're coming through turn 1, 2, and 3. Now heading up towards turn 4. Moichin in the slipstream of the Irishman. Can he make a move on the inside? He's going to go for it. Byrne doesn't give him a lot of room, but he doesn't have to. And Byrne does keep the position. Moichin gets close to his car there. Meanwhile, Chung still trying to get past Chris Chatfield there, but unable to do so. Now Lopez coming through the S's section of the circuit. Meanwhile, this is Roberto Gamma, who's trying to get past Jamie Griffiths in the Williams. They're heading up towards turn 1. Roberto Gamma on the inside, and he's going to make the move. Pretty easily done there. So now he'll try and catch up with the rest of the field. Meanwhile, Chris Chatfield, who doesn't appear to have a lot of pace, but I think he might have a lot of fuel, which probably explains why he's struggling. Meanwhile, actually, Joseph Willis, interestingly, is actually right on the backside of Amar Carr here. And speaking of on the backside, Lopez is right behind Gauser coming off the final corner here. Is he quite close enough to be in the slipstream? I think he could be, you know. It might be close. He's about 3/10. I think that might be enough, actually. And yes, he is. So Lopez now in the slipstream of Gal. This is the battle for the lead. Lopez on the inside. This is crucial for the championship. And Lopez on the inside. Can he make it stick? And the answer is yes. So at the moment he's leading, and he has the fast lap. So I think if they were to start the race right now, Lopez would be champion. So at the moment he's in a favourable position, and even better with the fact that Willows might even try and overtake Carr as well. Now that would make things even more interesting. But Lopez crucially taking the lead. Meanwhile, we're looking now at Roland Moichin, still stuck behind Evan Byrne. These guys have been battling since the start, as they're now heading up towards the first corner. Moichin just about in the slipstream of the Irishman. He's going to make a move on the inside, heading towards the first corner. He's on the inside, and can Moichin do it as he got the braking? And yes, he has. He brakes late enough and makes the move stick on the inside, so good job there. So he moves up into 6th position. Meanwhile, Chung now finally making the move on Chris Chatfield. She's been stuck behind him ever since the start, and finally she's now made an overtake on him, and now moves up into ninth position. Now Chatfield under pressure from Felix Sonntag in the Williams. I mean, will Sonntag even make a move possibly into the next corner? And he's going to go for it, Sonntag, but Chatfield defends, and he can't quite make it stick there, Sonntag, so he has to stick behind for now. So we're looking now at De Rossa, looking at Sonntag. So Chatfield at the moment doesn't appear to have a lot of pace, it seems, at this moment in time, as we're looking now at your current race leader. And look at the gap, actually, that Lopez has got to Miklos Gal already, now that he's already got past him. 5 seconds the gap, and Carr's still unable to get past Gal, and Willis is still right behind Carr as well. But at the moment, it's all going in Franco's favour. Franco López, that is. It's all going in his favour. Meanwhile, Roxy in 5th position, kind of on his own. Moichin appears to be closing up to him, actually. Byrne in 7th, kind of on his own. Kupok in 8th position at this moment in time. Now we're looking at Lopez coming through the first few corners here, and so far it's looking pretty good for him. And fuel-wise, we're just having a look at it, probably going to be a 2-stop, maybe 3. I mean, it's quite a long one, so it's on the verge, I'd say. Meanwhile, Felix Sonntag now trying to go past Chris Chatfield into turn 1. Is he going to make it stick? The answer is he's going to brake very late, Sonntag, and that is going to be enough, and he moves up now into 10th position. So good move there by Felix Sonntag. Good start for him as well. He's on light fuel as well, so it looks like he might be on the 3-stop. Now Carr, this is as close as he's ever been to Gal. Will he try and make a move into the first corner? And the answer is no. He's still not close enough. And of course, Willis is still sticking behind, and he's got slightly less fuel. Ever so slightly less fuel than Carr. And meanwhile, Chung now free to go after David Kupok for 8th position into the first corner, and she's going to make it stick. Very nicely done. And she's up into 8th position, so more points for her. And meanwhile, Moichin now right on the back of his teammate Roke for 5th place. Roke, who doesn't appear to have the pace of the top guys at this moment in time. But I mean, a Gal who is on, clearly looks to be on a 1-stop, maybe on a 1-stop. He's certainly on a heavy amount of fuel, keeping Carr at bay at this moment in time. I mean, it's helping Lopez, but it's going to be interesting to see what strategy he is going to be on. So we're looking at them coming through the S's now, and Carr just unable to get close enough to make move. That's how it's been throughout this whole start of the race. Meanwhile, Moichin now right on the back of Roke, heading towards the baseball stadium, and you don't see many moves on the inside. Moichin does have a look, but Roke defends. But I imagine if he gets a good enough run off the final corner, Moichin, he can easily make a move on Roke into the first corner. Now coming off the final corner, as long as they get close enough, then they could make a move into the first corner. I don't think Carr is quite close enough over the line. Gap is about half a second. I think it needs to be at least 3/10 to make the move. But meanwhile, Moichin is definitely close enough to Roke to make a move for P5 here, so he's going to be in the slipstream. Will Roke put up any defence? Moichin going to the inside, heading up towards the first corner, and Roke does not put up any defence. Moichin is going to go past him pretty easily here, and he's already passed him. His nose is in front, in towards the first corner, and that is very nicely done. No harm done there for the racing points. So now Moichin, will he be able to, actually interestingly, will Moichin be able to catch up actually to the front, to this gaggle of cars now that he's free? He's only about 5 seconds off, and Gal clearly doesn't have a lot of pace on his strategy. He's now 12 seconds behind Lopez, and Lopez himself is pitting fairly soon, but it's not going to be enough for Lopez to pit and get out in front of these guys, so he'll have to overtake them again, or certainly have to overtake Gal again, that's for sure. Franco Gamma desperately trying to get past Martinez into the first corner there. Martinez was not taking that line down, and he puts up a defence. The Philippines Ministry of Defence there, and Franco Gamma is going to try once again on the back straight here, and Martinez once again defends. This is not what Franco Gamma would need. He would think he'd be able to easily get past a Manor here. And so, meanwhile, Carr right behind Gal once again. Can he get a good enough run off the final corner to get in the slipstream? I think he's pretty close this time. I think he's closer than he is before. Is it going to be enough, though, across the line? I'm not sure. I think it needs to be 3/10, 4/10. It's not quite enough to catch up to him before the first corner. Meanwhile, Laura Chung on a mission at the moment, now catching up to the back of Evan Byrne, and I think she is close enough to make a move into the first corner here. Now she's just about in the slipstream of the Irishman as they head up towards turn 1, and I think Chung is going to make the move for 7th place here, and she's going to be on the inside, and yep, she is, and she makes the move for P7. Now she'll probably go after George Roke, although she is pitting fairly soon, so she probably will catch up to him, but no, she'll be overtaken. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne is in the pits for his first stop. So Byrne, who didn't seem particularly quick on this stint, how much fuel do they put in? So 26, about into the lap 40. So probably maybe a 3-stop for Byrne. Sonntag is in as well, and I imagine he's probably going to be on the 3-stop. He actually puts in slightly less fuel than Byrne, so he definitely is going to be on the 3-stop. And I think Byrne more than likely will be on the 3 as well. So Byrne will come out of the pits down in P, I think it was about 13. Meanwhile, Laura Chung now, as I said, has caught up to the back of Roke. Sontag does come out the pits, and actually I think does come out ahead of Martinez and Gamba. So Gamba's still unable to get past Martinez, and actually Gamba himself is pitting in a few laps' time. So unfortunately this is not going well for his recovery in this race, Franco Gamba. It's not unfortunately going to be quite the same as Malaysia, where he won despite having to pit twice early on and nearly going a lap down, and unfortunately there's going to be no chance of rain in this one, so Gamba is not going to be able to have a miracle recovery like Malaysia. You only see that once in a millennium, and it's not going to happen today. So once again, Gao 17 seconds behind, so Lopez is going to be pitting this lap. Again, it's not quite enough to get ahead of these guys, so it needs to be at least 20 seconds, and I'm not sure how long how long it takes the pits here. But meanwhile, Laura Chung now on the back of Roke. I think she's just about close enough to Roke to make a move, and actually she's going to be pitting this lap. So now she's in the slipstream of Roke and is going to make a move on the inside for turn 1, and I think this is going to be the move for Laura Chung. I mean, she's going to be pitting this lap, but at least she is going to make the move, which she does, up to P6. And so it's been a good stint so far for Laura Chung, and I imagine she's probably going to be in the 3-stop as well. Meanwhile, Gamba, because he's failed to get past Martinez, that has actually allowed Jamie Griffiths to catch up to them. So they're heading up around the final corner, heading towards turn 1. So again, this is just not the stint that Franco Gamba would have been hoping for. So now coming onto the straight, and Griffiths actually is in the slipstream even of Gamba, might even make a move into the first corner here. He's right behind Gamba. Is Gamba in the slipstream of Martinez? I'm not sure, but Griffiths just storming past Franco Gamba, heading up towards the first corner here. And so, wow, Griffiths making a move. That is for P16, and can Griffiths get past Martinez? Now that would be quite something. So as they're coming through the first few corners there, now Griffiths is in the slipstream of Martinez. Can he make a move on the inside? We have seen it done. Willers did it on Roke early on, but Griffiths is going to try and do it around the outside, which is not going to work unless he swaps to the inside, which he can't. So not going to happen this time around. Now Franco López is in the pits, and it wasn't a particularly quick stop actually, at 8.1 seconds. That was fairly slow. So he comes out obviously behind the top 4. I think he'll come up behind Moichin as well, which he does. Will he come up ahead of Chung or behind Chung? Comes out... oh no, Chung of course is pitting, so ignore me. So he does come out behind Moichin, so he does come ahead of Roke. So he is in a bit of clear air, but he is going to catch up with these guys pretty quickly. And Roke in the background again. He's not had a... no, it's not Roke, it's Moichin, what am I saying? Moichin who's, again, been ever so slowly catching up with these guys. Chung, meanwhile, has a very quick stop. 6 seconds, well, certainly compared to the Mercedes team anyway. So Chung now down to 11th position, and she comes out just in front of Federi, although Federi actually might overtake her before the first corner here. And is that going to happen? The answer is yes, Federi does overtake Chung into the first corner, which is not what Chung would have wanted. She would have wanted to have been in front of Federi. And so meanwhile, we've got this big gaggle of cars as Federi dips into the pits there. That is not good for Chung, although the Renault behind actually has got the Williams behind of Sontag to possibly, make a move. Meanwhile, Gamba still, by the way, this is like, was it Monaco 2001, Eric Minoldi, David Coulthard, but in this instance, it's Rosetta Martinez holding up Franco Gamba, and it's not at all like Monaco. But Carl, once again, still cannot get past Gao, and Willers, again, has just been behind there, watching these two follow each other for the whole race. I mean, Carl is pretty close, they're coming into the baseball stadium. And so now we're coming off, and Willows actually is going to be pitting this lap, and Carr I think is going to be pitting the lap after. Meanwhile, you can see Lopez has already caught up to these guys. So as we're coming in towards I think that was turn 4, sorry. But Lopez unable to make the move stick there, but he'll have one less car to deal with because Carr will be pitting this lap. So meanwhile, Evan Byrne trying to pass the Ferrari of Laura Chung in towards turn 1. And he's going to do it in the Williams behind, trying to take a look as well. But Byrne does make it past Chung for P10 there. And so now he'll go after Kirosima de Rosa in front. And we've got a yellow flag out. And it's Rosetta Martinez who is out. So Franco Gamba is free to feel good, because now Martinez has retired from this race. It was a loose wheel, in fact. So Martinez, who himself actually was probably going to be on maybe a 1 or a 2 stop. But yeah, a loose wheel causing his retirement. As we're looking at and Franco Gamba. Oh, and I say that, and Franco Gamba also suffers a problem on exactly the same lap, and it looks to be a suspension failure. You can see that front right wheel is not in pristine condition, or that's not the way it should be on the car. So Franco Gamba, unfortunately, is out of the race, so probably all that dirty air from following Masters has affected him. So Willers is in. Carl will be in next lap, and we'll probably look to, of course, well, undercut Gal. So where actually will Willers come back out on the circuit will be interesting to see. Will he come out ahead of this battle between Chatfield and Jake Galloway? And the answer is, I don't know where Willers is. And Willers actually has come out of the pit, so he has crucially actually come out ahead of these guys, which is important, because otherwise he'd be stuck behind in traffic. And oh, Moichin is out! And Ronan Moichin is out of this race! And so what on earth has happened to him? It is a puncture that's caused his retirement. So he was in the battle, this was with Franco López. Oh, he wasn't. Oh, no! And, well, he had a puncture, so it wasn't a collision. So we're looking on board with Franco López here, and I think he seemed to slow down a bit, did Ronan Moichin. So it must have been a puncture that caused him to slow down a bit more there. And meanwhile, we're looking at Armar Carr, and he's got an electrical problem! Oh, would you believe it? Both Mercedes on the same lap having issues. I mean, Franco López was extremely unlucky with what happened to him. And now Armar Carr has got an electrical problem. And he actually was going to be pitting soon anyway. But he now pits. And wow, that has just freed up Nicholas Gao in front, who says bye-bye. And is going to be street clear. And of course, crucially for Mercedes, they're stacking on the same lap. So López is going to be the unlucky one here. It was all going his way. And now it's really turned on his head. So at this moment in time, the title battle will be going to the next round in Abu Dhabi, and would you believe it? I mean, Franco López, I mean, you couldn't write that. The fact that Moichin had a puncture right in front of López, and then, wow, López had nowhere to go. He couldn't do anything about that. He was totally an innocent bystander in that. And, well, López, you probably would have seen him in the first announcement. He probably had the title on a platter. He looked to be handed to it on a platter because Gal was holding up Carr, and then of course coming out the pits, and of course then I mean, you can't write that now. Meanwhile, there's a big battle actually between, this is Sontag in 10th position battling with Laura Chung, who doesn't seem to have any pace ever since she stopped. Roke is right behind as well. Sontag on the inside trying to defend this Chung, but will Sontag make the move? And the answer is no. He holds on. But unfortunately for López, he is going to be so far back. He's down in 14th place, a 25-second stop. Not very effective. And so he's going to come out of the pits. Over a minute in the pits as well. That is extremely long. Meanwhile, Joseph Willers at the moment running in 3rd position, actually. So he's actually, I forget about this. Joseph Willers is the one who's taken the most advantage of this. He's now in 3rd position. He's got David Kupok in front of him. Carr, of course, has had to pit. So Willers has gained himself a few free positions here, and so he'll be very delighted with that. At the moment he's behind David Kupok, although I believe he's going to be pitting soon anyway. And it's not Kupok who's in the pits now, it's Chatfield, and the Renault behind of Jake Galloway is in the pits as well, and they both come in. So this will be a pit stop battle between AlphaTauri and Renault. So who is going to get out first? So Chatfield, he's going to be obviously on the 2-stop. Galloway puts in slightly less fuel actually than Chatfield. Chatfield puts in more. And Galloway, will he get out in front? The team lets him go, and yes, Galloway does jump Chatfield in the pits there, so that is important for him. And Galloway is on slightly less fuel as well. That is crucial for him. And so López now moves up 2 places now to talk. He's now behind Andrea Federi in the Alfa Romeo here. And so we're looking, meanwhile, at Evan Byrne, who's close behind De Rossa into turn 4. De Rossa himself is actually pitting this lap. The moment Gal, who is still leading this race, still yet to pit, and Willers at the moment, who's stuck behind the AlphaTauri of Kupok, and I don't know when Kupok is pitting, but at the moment Willers would prefer if he was out of the way at this moment in time, and Gal himself is actually going to be pitting this lap. I thought he was going in actually the lap before, so he's 25 seconds ahead of Kupok. I'm not sure if that is enough to get out ahead of Willers. That's going to be very, very close, but Willers again needs to get past Kupok very quickly if he wants. Well, I mean, Willers is certainly within the shout of even a win here, and Kupok himself is pitting this lap actually, so that is crucial for Willers. So he'll be free of Kupok, and the question is, will he be ahead of Gal when he comes out of the pits? I don't know, but we're looking at Roke, who's right behind the Williams here of Sontag. He might even be close enough to make a move into the first corner. He's just about in the slipstream. They're heading up towards the first corner. And so Roke now in the slipstream of the Williams. Is he going to make a move late? He's just about there. He's going to go for it on the inside, past the Williams of Sontag. Is it going to be enough? And the answer is no. Sontag goes very deep though into the corner, but that's still not going to be enough for Roke to make the move. So could he do it into turn 4? Coming out of turn 3, meanwhile Chung battling with Evan Byrne trying to make a move. and he can't quite do it. Byrne holds off Laura Chung. So we're looking at Lopez, who again is still at the moment stuck behind Andrea Federi in the Alfa Romeo. This is the battle for 10th. This is not where Lopez wants to be. And so there we go. Federi still holds on at this moment in time. And now Miguel Gal is in the pits. And of course David Cupok will be coming into the pits at the end of this lap on the same lap. But Willows, will he be in front of Gal after he pits? So Gal will be doing, it looks like, the 2-stop. Well, it looks like he will be. Of course he will be doing the 2-stop. So Cupok will now come in. Is he going to be out ahead of Willows is going to be the big question. So where is Willows? I imagine he's probably just coming around the final corner now. Gal now out of the pits, and where is Willows? Is he in front? And the answer is yes. I could just see Willows coming in the background there. So he does get out ahead of Willows, which is important. I mean, they're both on similar strategies as well. But at the moment, Gal does crucially get out in front. I mean, maybe if Cupok wasn't there, Willows may have been in front of Gal, and that could have spiced it up a little bit. That is entirely a possibility. But nonetheless, Gal is still leading this race. So David Cupok now comes out of the pits in, looks like, 9th position. Meanwhile, Franco López under pressure from Jake Galloway in the Renault here, heading up towards the first corner. Galloway's going to overtake López. This is for P11. So López, who's been stuck behind Federi, cannot make a move. Galloway now on the inside. Can he do it? The answer is yes, he can. And so Galloway now moves up into 11th place. López out of 12th as Sonntag almost goes into the Ferrari there, coming off the final corner, as the Ferrari, I think that is of Laura Chung, comes into the pits, and Roku was close behind Sonntag, but it's now out of the slipstream range. Cupok himself, who I think is maybe just about in the slipstream range of the Ferrari of Roberto Gamma in front of him, although I think he's a little bit too far now. I think he's quite close enough as they head towards the first corner here. And so we're looking now at Jake Galloway, who's right behind Federi in the Alfa Romeo, showing López how it's done. And Galloway now on the inside of Federi, heading up towards the first corner. And he's going to make the move stick, and this is going to be a pretty simple move, which it is. And so he does make it up the inside. Now López, who's close behind Federi, coming off of turn 3. Will he make it into turn 4 maybe? I don't know. And so he's going to try and make it around the outside, but this isn't going to work, I don't think. And no, it's not, unless he does a late dive bomb into turn 4. But that ain't going to happen. So as they're coming through now, turn 5. At the moment, Carr in P3. I don't know if he's actually closing up to us. I mean, the gap is less than 4 seconds. So I'm not sure if he is closing up to him or not. But we're looking at the moment at George Rook, who's running in 6th position. Behind Felix Sonntag, who at the moment is running in P5, a very impressive P5 for Felix Sonntag, who's had a good race so far, you have to say, has made a few good overtakes, kept himself out of trouble, and is battling and kept ahead of a much faster Racing Point at this moment in time. So as they're coming now around the final corner, I don't think Rook is quite close enough off the corner to make the move into the first corner, which he is not, so he's going to have to stick behind yet again. So as we're looking, it's heading up to the first corner at over 320 kilometers an hour, over 200 miles an hour. It is a long, long straight. Meanwhile, David Cupok appears to be closing up to the back of Roberto Gamma. Now, meanwhile, Franco López under pressure from Chris Chatfield. This is for 11th position. So López being overtaken left, right, and centre. He still can't get past Federi, and now he gets overtaken by Chris Chatfield in the AlphaTauri in towards the first corner, and he is through. So just Federi is proving a thorn in his side at this moment in time. I mean, López could even be overtaken by the McLaren. I think the McLaren was pretty close behind him as well. And he is even overtaking him, De Rossa, in towards turn 1. And De Rossa goes steaming past him. And López is having a torrid time at this point. And he nearly goes into the back of the McLaren there. That could have been pretty nasty. And fortunately, no harm is done. So now we're looking as Chris Chatfield, who is on the back of the Alfa Romeo as they're heading towards turn 4, and actually Chatfield goes on the inside. That's a great move by Chris Chatfield, and he goes past Federi, and López still unable to do it, and that's what he should have thought of ages ago, but still unable to make the move stick. So we're looking now at Roberto Gamma, who's under pressure from David Cupok. This is his position. Meanwhile, Sonntag battling with Evan Byrne, but Sonntag himself is going to be pitting on this lap, so Rook will finally be free of him. Not have to worry about the Williams in front. He'll probably get, of course, Will's already be saying, that's how I feel, having been stuck behind Sonntag a number of times this season. But at the moment, Carr in 3rd position doesn't really seem to be closing much on Willows in 2nd, to be honest. He's obviously extending the gap over Byrne in 4th position, so he's certainly clear of that, so he's going to have no danger there. But he doesn't actually appear. He's actually gone up slightly even to 4 seconds. So Willers does certainly seem to have some good pace today. And I mean, Gal has extended again. I thought Gal would have extended the lead a lot more than that. It's gone up a little bit, up to last time I saw. I think a few laps ago it was about 4 seconds. Now up to 6.7. So it has gone up, but not quite as much as I thought it would. I thought it would go up a lot more. Meanwhile, Jamie Griffiths now becoming the latest driver in the past Franco López Grand Prix here, and he now moves up into 12th position. So wow, López really having it tough out there, and it has even Roberto Gamba behind. But actually, Roberto Gamba does pit, and so I meant to say Roberto Gamba is pitting now, but it was Laura Chung that was behind Franco López. So Gamba has a fairly quick stop. Meanwhile, now Felix Sontag battling with Laura Chung actually, and Jamie Griffiths now trying to go past Federi into the first corner. Federi not making it easy, but Griffiths wants it on the inside. Is he going to get it? And the answer is no. Sontag trying to get past Chung as well. That doesn't work either. But López now right behind Griffiths now that he failed to overtake Federi, but Griffiths has got a good run on Federi coming onto the back straight. Will he try and make the move into turn 4? Will he swap to the inside? López, however, is going to make the move on the inside, takes advantage of that and gets back past Griffiths, but now of course he's stuck behind Federi yet again, and now will try and look to make a move past Federi, or if he can. I mean, he's failed so far, so he needs to think of something different if he wants to get past now. So we're looking at George Roque, who's right behind Evan Byrne, who himself is actually going into the pits on the Zat, so Roque will now be up into P4. So we're looking at Chatfield, running in 8th position, and López almost pushing Federi through the S's here. Griffiths now under pressure from the Ferrari of Laura Chung behind, and so López coming in towards the baseball stadium. Federi moving to the inside, trying to block him off there. And so, of course, you don't see many moves. You don't see many or any moves into the baseball stadium. They have to wait until the back straight, and López just needs to get a good exit off the corner, needs to get the foot to the pedal, but you can see how much Federi gets away there. But is López quite close enough across the line? He could catch him maybe. He's 3/10 the gap. Is it enough? I'm not quite sure. I think he might be catching up, but I think it might be a little bit too late. He's just about getting in the slipstream now, but it's not working. Meanwhile, Chung and Felix Sontag battling. This is for 13th place, and oh, there was nearly contact there, but Sontag gets past Chung and moves up into 12th, and Chung down to 13th, and that was very close, but no harm done. Now will Chung try to make him back on the inside. Meanwhile, López trying around the outside of Federi, coming to turn 4, but once again, it is not working. He needs to think of something different if he wants to get past that pesky Alfa Romeo. But at the moment, you can see the gap again extending actually out front now a fair bit. It's now up to 10 seconds. Gal to Willows. Again, Carr not gaining on Willows in 2nd place, and the gap's gone down I mean, ever so slightly, but it's so far Willows is doing a fantastic job in the McLaren. And so once again we're looking at Franco López, who still cannot for the absolute life of him get past the Alfa Romeo in front of him, and of course this could cost him badly in the Drivers' Championship, of course, if he can't get through, because he was just looking. It's all gone down there. It was looking so good in the first 25 laps, in the first quarter of the race. It was looking all so good for him, and now it's all gone to pot. So, looking at the gaps actually, Kupok actually, who's a few seconds behind Roque. Galloway is close behind as well, and now the Williams of Griffiths might even be overtaking López once again into the first quarter. But he's on the inside, Griffiths, so I think this is going to be the move. And so Griffiths once again passes López for 10th position. So again, if it wasn't for that Alfa Romeo, López would be so far clear of these guys now, but he's being badly affected, and now he's under pressure from the other Williams of Felix Sontag. He's in a Williams sandwich. Now Griffiths has got a good run. When he make a move to the inside, it goes to the outside. Will he swap to the inside? He's going to try it, and there's contact, and oh, Sontag, oh, wow! Sontag makes contact with López, and meanwhile, Byrne has just gone into the back of Laura Chung there, and so Laura Chung is unfortunately out of the race. And you can see, I mean, Byrne was so far away in towards turn 4, and he made a very, very late move, and it was never on, and I think Evan Byrne is more than likely going to get a penalty for that, because that was just a ridiculous move. He tried to launch it as far as the United States there on the inside of Chung, and it was never, well, it wasn't even on the inside, it ran into the back of Chung, and unfortunately Chung is now out. Meanwhile, Jamie Griffiths now is going to once again go past Federi, or for the first time go past Federi into the first corner, which he does. He's now up to 9th, and meanwhile the other Williams, or Sontag, I believe, has he gone past López? And the answer is yes, he has. So wow, López really struggling again in this big pack. It's just Federi. If it wasn't for Federi, he'd easily be much quicker than all these guys, and he just can't do it. And he's going to try and get past or back past Sontag here into turn 4. and it ain't working for him. Meanwhile, now we're looking at the race leader, Miklos Gau, who's trying to get past all this lap traffic. He gets past Sontag, and now Lopez will try and look to make an opportunity to make a move on the inside as he defends, and I imagine Lopez will probably swap to the left, which he maybe does, and there's contact between the two, and Sontag goes very wide there, but Lopez can't make it stick, so he's still stuck down there in 12th position, and we've got less than half the race to go. Meanwhile, George Roque in 4th place under pressure though from Jake Galloway, actually, who by the way is having a great race. Jake Galloway, he's running in 5th, and he started defecate in 80th position, so he started way down the order, and he's doing a very good job, and had a very good recovery in this race. So we're looking on board with him heading up towards the first corner. I don't know if he's quite close enough to make a move on Roque into the first corner. I think he might actually just about be catching up with Roque's slipstream, and I think it's a little bit too late. So Roque will easily keep the position, although Roque does defend to the inside a bit, so takes a little bit of an awkward line actually in towards the first corner. That's going to possibly allow Galloway to make a move heading up towards turn 4. At the moment, Gal now clear of all that traffic, which is important for him. He's going to be pitting fairly soon. Now, meanwhile, this is Lopez, who's on the back of the Williams with Sontag heading up towards the first corner. Going to try and make a move on the inside, but he can't do it because Sontag's actually got the slipstream off the Alfa Romeo in front of him. So Lopez gets back in the slipstream of the Williams, but now it's the Alfa Romeo, and now Sontag on the inside of Federi, and he makes the move stick up into 10th position. Lopez still has not been able to get past Federi at this point in time. Can he do it now finally into turn 4? And Lopez, he's got actually a much better run off the corner here, but will he be able to do it? And the answer is no. And now Chung is there, going to make a move on the inside. So Roberto Gamma is on the inside, and Roberto Gamma passes. Wow, Roberto Gamma passes Franco López. It's really turning into a nightmare race. Meanwhile, Roque is holding up this big train of cars in P4 at this moment in time. And Federi's made a mistake actually. And Federi makes a mistake, and that allows Roberto Gamma to get through. So Franco López still, after all of that, cannot get through. And now we're coming onto the back straight, and now will Lopez finally be clear, because he's now closer to Federi than he's ever been before. He's going to try and make a move into the first corner. Lopez is now on the inside of the Italian, and surely this is the move. Can he do it? And at long last, get your trumpets out, hallelujah, he's finally done it, but it's cost him so much time. Meanwhile, Galloway and Roque still battling for P4 with Kupok, De Rossa and Chapford involved. Meanwhile, Miklos Gau is going to be coming in for his final stop of the race. So Willers still running in P. I don't know what the gap actually is still between Carr and Willers, but Willers has clearly still kept P2. I don't think Carr's actually got anywhere near close to him at this moment in time. So as we're looking at this 5 train of cars behind George Roque, we've got Galloway, Kupok, Chatfield and De Rossa, all behind George Roque, who doesn't appear to have a lot of pace in this race. He's still running in P4, so he's still running in a decent position. Again, Galloway just not quite close enough off the final corner to get in the slipstream. Just needs a little bit more straight. Well, needs better acceleration, I think, off the corner is the most important thing, really. But Galloway now makes a move in towards the first corner. He's now still in P5, making the move. He's just biding his time, but if he can't make the move on track, he'll have to, of course, make the move in the pits. So we're looking at Miklos Gau, who's coming in for his final stop of the race. He's had it all under control, really, ever since the two Mercedes had their own issues. They self-destructed. So Gau now makes a pit stop. It's 6.8, so fairly quick. So he'll come out, of course, down in pieces. So Joseph Willers will lead this race. Amakar in 3rd position again, is not caught up to Willers at all. So Carr, I mean, Willers has even extended the gap. It's now actually over 5 seconds, the gap. So Willers has really got some good pace. Well, I think it's partly that, but also partly the fact that Carr appears to have no pace. Meanwhile, George Roque, actually in the Racing Point, is going to come into the pits at the end of this lap. And so now finally this gaggle of cars will be clear. So Galloway will have a clear run in front of him in P4. So we're looking now as they head towards the baseball stadium. Roque will make his way into the pits. I mean, he could have gone maybe even a lap or so longer, Roque, but he's decided not to. Maybe because I think the tyres must be dead. So Roque will now, of course, jink to the right, go into the pits, which he does. And there we go. And now, is Kupok actually close enough to make a move on Galloway in front of him? I don't think so. But however, Chatfield is close enough to make a move on Kupok. So they're coming down the front straight, and Chatfield making his way on the inside of his German teammates. So heading up towards the first corner, and this is going to be a pretty simple move. This is for P5, Chatfield on the inside. Kupok going to try and hold it around the outside, but it's not going to work. And so he makes the move for P5 there. So now De Rossa maybe looking to get past Kupok as well for P6 in front of him. So heading up down the straight towards turn 4. Roque comes out of the pits in front of Lopez. And Lopez himself actually is going to be pitting this laps at the moment. Joseph Willer's leading this race, and he's going to be going a few more laps actually than Miklos Gal. And Gal is, how far is he behind? 7 seconds. So Gal will close up, but Willer's going to go a lot longer. And it looks like Willers will come P2 because Carr just does not seem to have any answer. They're both on actually similar fuel, funny enough. And actually, here we go. This is the battle for second place. So Gal now right behind Armar Carr. This is the battle for second position. And actually, Willows needs Carr to do him a favour here if he wants any chance of winning this. Because Willows is pitting later on. Although Evan Byrne is trying to unlap himself into the first corner here. This will not help Willows. As Byrne now goes past Willows and unlaps himself there in towards the first few corners. And now will Byrne give the position back? I don't know. But meanwhile, Gal once again all over the back of Carr. This is for second position, so lap traffic playing its part here in this race once again. So Roque actually has come out in 11th position, and he's come out in this traffic, which I don't think he really would have wanted. So he's now going to try and go past the Ferrari of Roberto Gamba, heading up towards the first corner, and he's just about getting alongside the Ferrari, the Italian in the Ferrari. And so Roque going to make a move on the inside. And no, he actually can't quite do... Ooh, that was close. He couldn't quite do it. Meanwhile, Willers is now in the pits. And actually, he's pitted a bit earlier than I thought he would. So now Gal has free rein out front. I thought Willers would be going a bit longer than that. But Miklos Gal now has the lead of this race. And so Lopez now is down in P13. But he's actually... Is he going to the end, Lopez? That's 21 laps. I think it was 21 laps. So yeah, I think Lopez actually is going to be going to the end of this race, I think, by the looks of it. I can't remember when he actually pitted before. Meanwhile, Evan Byrne has received a 10-second time penalty because of the incident with Laura Chung. That is not really any surprise there whatsoever. I'd be more surprised if he didn't get a penalty. So Williams, meanwhile, comes out in P2. I mean, Carr, I think, has just come across the line, I believe. And, no, what am I saying? He's just come out of the pits, I should say. What am I saying? But Willows, crucially, is still in second place. And Carr, can he put up any answer? I mean, well, this actually is, well, you would think this is the battle for lead, but it is not. This is actually Franco López trying to unlap himself past Miklos Gal. I mean, Gal's got a comfortable lead ahead of Willows up front, nearly 20 seconds. It's about 18, so as they come across the line. Not many laps to go, but of course López is going to be trying to unlap himself. And oh, there's the McLaren coming out of the pits there. That was De Rossa, and that could have got really ugly. But López now going to unlap himself through the first corner. He's going to go past the Red Bull of Gal, and it's going to look like he's going to stretch away unless Gal has any answer. But of course, crucially for Gal, he's got De Rossa behind, who's also just come out of the pits as well. But I don't imagine, if he was smart about this, Gal, he would just let De Rossa overtake him, so there wouldn't be any problems. So we're looking at Gal coming through turns 4 and 5, now heading up towards turn 6 and then 7, now heading up towards the S's section of the circuit. But as you can see, he's already got clear of Gal's, so he doesn't need to worry about him. The gap actually come down a little bit between Willows and Gal. It's down to 17 seconds. Again, Carr about 4.6. That's about what it was during the last stint. Meanwhile, Galloway has actually passed Roque for 9th position, as you can see on the graphic there. So Roque, unfortunately, who failed to get past the Ferrari of Roberto Gamba, now been passed by Galloway as well. So that was the Williams just coming to the pits there of, I think that was Jamie Griffiths in the pits there. So he pits one more time. And actually, Roque is coming to the pits as well, actually, as a matter of fact. So Roque must have had a problem or something. That's why Galloway went past him. So what has happened to Roque here? So he's coming to the pits and he's still got plenty of fuel left. So there must have been a problem. Or he's maybe had a collision with someone on the circuit. We're about to find out. We'll see a replay, I would imagine, in a moment to see what has happened to the Englishman for Racing Points. Unfortunately, it's turned out to be a pretty miserable race for the Pink Panthers. So as Roque does put a new wing on, so it looks like it was damaged, and a pretty good stop actually though from Racing Points. So let's have a look. So Roque was behind Roberto Gamba, heading up towards turn 4, and oh, Roque just goes careering into the back of Roberto Gamba there. And I think that's, and to be honest, that's pretty self-inflicted. I think that was his own fault really, Roque. So yeah, he's cost himself a chance of some good points today. Meanwhile, Lopez still running down the order, but meanwhile Roberto Gamba desperately trying to get past Felix Sontoka, who's having absolutely none of it. And so Galloway once again really trying to make his way through past these guys as he's right behind Roberto Gamba now. He's caught up as he got a good run off the corner. Roberto Gamba, is he on the inside? Galloway, he might even make a move here. He attempts to, but he can't quite do it. so he has to wait. So Roberto Gamma trying to get past Suntoku, and Suntoku, I believe, actually still has to pit. Byrne has to pit as well, actually. And now, unfortunately for Gallus, that he's in this big gaggle of cars yet again. Wills at the moment has not really got any traffic to deal with at this moment in time. Gal's still got a fairly comfortable lead. It's up 16 seconds, so again, I think Gal does have this, but he just has to be careful of all this traffic, as of course this is Lopez at the moment is still in the points. The gap will come down at this moment in time, and again, car who just doesn't have the pace to contend to get at Williams, which is very surprising. You would think the Mercedes would be so much quicker than the McLaren, but obviously not, as now Felix Sontag does come in for his final stop of the race. Now Lopez, who had been clear of the Red Bull of Gal, has now have been stuck behind the Renault, is now going to have to maybe let Gal go back past him, but of course, unfortunately for Lopez, he's right behind the Renault in front of him, but now I think Gal will try and unlap himself here, which he does. So Gal laps Franco Lopez, who himself is now up into 7th, so he's moved up more positions. But for Gal, he needs to get past the other Renault, although he will soon enough, because the Renault himself of Evan Byrne is pitting this lap. So Gal will now lap Evan Byrne as they're coming onto the back straight here, and he will do it. And now will Lopez maybe try and take advantage of this and make a move past Byrne, and yes, he does. That's exactly what Lopez wanted to do, and he's now up into 6th position. That's worked out perfectly for him. So good job for Lopez. Now he'll try and look to unlap himself past Gal once again. So at the moment, Lopez is gaining more positions, and meanwhile, Jake Galloway is right now in 5th position, right behind Roberto Gamma. I don't know if Roberto Gamma actually has to pit before the end or not. I hadn't seen his fuel, but if he does, then Galloway is on for a top 4 finish, although maybe not if Lopez has anything to say about it. But Gal's still leading, but Lopez, you can see, is all over the back of him, and Byrne himself, who's got that 10-second time penalty, let's not forget, is going to be pitting once more before the end. So that 10 seconds, of course, will add on to his race time. So we're looking at Felix Sontag, who's behind Federi, the Alfa Romeo. That's Franco Lopez's best friend in this race. Roberto Gamma does pit this lap, so Galloway now, P4 from P18 would be a pretty darn good result if he manages to pull this one off. So as we're looking at Evan Byrne in the pits, there's Roberto Gamma as well. Now Lopez is unlapping himself, and Lopez, amazingly, despite being stuck in all that traffic and being overtaken by every car imaginable on the grid, is amazingly back in the top 5, and now he unlaps himself past Miglos Gal yet again. And can he go after Jake Galloway in front of him in the top 4? If he managed to get a top 4 out of this race after that incident with Morton, that would be a very good recovery for him, and that's exactly what he needs, of course, in the title fight. But at this moment in time, points-wise, of course, no surprise to see that the title will be going to Abu Dhabi. The title fight, I should say, will be going to Abu Dhabi. Meanwhile, this is Felix Sontag, who's trying to go past Federi. He's been stuck behind him, actually, for a few laps, and now finally Sontag is going to make a move on the inside, and he does pass Federi for 12th place there. So good job there from the Williams driver. Now, can he get points from this race would be the big question. Meanwhile, Roberto Gamba is all over the back of George Roque in the battle for 10th place. Is the battle for the last point, and Roku himself has not had a particularly great race, not shown very good pace, and yeah, he's well, I suppose he was unlucky with the, well, I suppose it was Roberto Gamba who he hit in the first place, so it was kind of in a way self-inflicted. But we're looking at De Rosa right now running in P6, heading towards the baseball stadium. Now Lopez, who's still got, of course, got the blue flag signal up, but he's much quicker than Gal, so he's going to take absolutely no notice to that whatsoever. And so Sontag, who has said he's clear of Federi. Could he catch up to Roberto Gamba and George Roque? Maybe get himself in with a shout of getting at least a point out of this race. Meanwhile, Byrne right behind Federi as well. Federi, who's been a mobile chicane to everybody really on the circuit. And Lopez, meanwhile, actually is less than a second behind Galloway. So Galloway's got to defend his heart out for 8 more laps if he wants to get a point out of this race. Now, meanwhile, Roberto Gamba right behind George Roque as they're coming on towards the first corner, and Roberto Gamba is in the slipstream of Roque, so he might even make a move into the first corner here, and Roberto Gamba going to go for it on the inside, and he's going to take 10th place away from Roque. Can he? And he will. And so, yeah, Roberto Gamba makes his way up into 10th position, so good job there from him. And again, George Roque, who I suppose was unlucky hitting Roberto Gamba, but it was his own fault, and Roberto Gamba says, haha, sucks to be you, and makes the move past him. A 10th position as we're looking through the field. Jamie Griffiths, meanwhile, actually is in the points, I have to say. Jamie Griffiths has had an exceptionally good race and is set to get some more points for Williams, which he'll be very happy about. Meanwhile, Lopez all over the back of Galloway in the battle for P4. Every championship point is crucial now, so he'll want to get past Galloway. He's not going to be able to get past anyone else, so 4th place would be the absolute best he could get out of this race. And oh, De Rossa is out! And De Rossa has got a mechanical failure, it looks like, and he was running in a solid P6. It was going to be double points for McLaren, but it is not going to happen now. And he is out of the race, and you've got to feel for De Rossa. It was a suspension failure just coming up towards the baseball stadium there. You can see, and there it was. There was the failure, and so there we go. We're now on the last lap of this race, and Miguel Escal is your race leader. And he's being overtaken, or at least trying to be overtaken by the AlphaTauri here. So the gap actually between him and Willis has come down actually quite significantly. So I think Gal's tyres must be done for, because the gap was a few laps ago. It was well over 10 seconds, and now it's gone down to less than 6. So I think his tyres are done, Gal, but it won't matter. So as for Willows, he'll be desperately... Oh, he'll be gutted that he'd actually fairly close to the win. I mean, maybe if Kupak hadn't held him up, could Willows have won this race? Maybe, because he could have come out ahead of Gal. It could have made all the difference. So that could be tough. But Willows will be very delighted anyway to get a second position. But for Miguel Gal, he'd be even more delighted to get yet another race win, and he'll still be in title contention come Abu Dhabi. So once again, crucially, the championship will be going to Abu Dhabi, the penultimate round of the season. Miguel Escal coming around the final corner, and he is going to win the Mexican Grand Prix, and it is a deserved win for Miguel Escal. He takes the victory. And so he wins his race. Kupak 6th, Chris Chatfield in 7th, JB Griffiths in 8th. A great result. Willows, what a performance. P2, he will be very, very happy with that. And I believe Galloway, I think, may have been overtaken on the last lap. I think I saw he was down to 6th. Carr takes 3rd position. He'll be pretty disappointed with that, because he just didn't have the pace to win this race. But crucially, of course, for Franco López, he's running in P4. And I suppose I briefly saw Galloway's down to P6, but it's back up to P5 now, it looks like. So... But Lopez, P4, will be very happy to get that after, well, it seemed like he was going to get nothing. He was being overtaken by every car imaginable. And so here he is. So this is crucial for the championship, Lopez. It was going his way at the start. Then, of course, Roland Motion had that puncture right in front of Lopez, who had nowhere to go, and unfortunately hit him and lost his front wing. And then, of course, got held up. Let's not forget, got held up because Carr, on the very same lap, had a mechanical problem. So for Mercedes, it all fell apart for them. So, of course, they won the Constructors' Championship. They will not win the Drivers' Championship here in Mexico, but they still, or at least Lopez does, have a great chance to win it at the next round in Abu Dhabi. He takes 4th position. Jake Galloway running a fantastic race, and he'll take P5 from 18th from the grid. He'll be very, very happy with that. That is for sure. He comes across the line. And so there we go. That is race over. So we'll take a look, of course, at the full race results, Drivers' Standings, and Constructors' Championship. So here we go. Miguel Escal winning the race ahead of Joseph Willis, only 5.5 seconds of the gap at the end. Armand Carr in 3rd, Franco López 4th, Jake Galloway in 5th, the last car on the lead lap, with Davey Kupak, Chris Chatfield, Jamie Griffiths, Roberto Gamma, and George Drake completing the points. And crucially, of course, Franco López gets that extra point for fastest lap. Every point counts in the OC, with Felix Sontag in 11th position as well, just missing out on the points. Evan Burns stayed 12th, despite, of course, his 10-second time penalty. Andrea Federi, the last car to finish this race, in 13th. The following drivers all retiring from this race: Joseph De Rossa, Laura Chung, Roland Moichin, Rosetta Martinez, Franco Gamba, Amelia Wilson, Dudu Kirby, Gabriel Gomez, and Daniel Fraser. So that was the race results, and now we'll take a look at the driver's standings. This is very important. So Lopez, you can see the gap. So crucially, actually, look at that. Armand Carr and Miguel Escal now on the same points as each other. The gap over, I think it was 43 points, I think it is, the gap between Lopez, Carr, and Gal. Other movements include Jake Galloway moving up into the top 6 of the standings, and Joseph Willis now moving up into the top 10 of the standings with his 2nd place position. Looking down the rest of the order, of course, Jamie Griffiths gave himself some extra points, moving ever closer to the Alfa Romeo of Gabriel Gomez. Could he? I mean, if he managed to finish ahead of Gabriel Gomez, that would be quite an achievement for Williams. Of course, still, Rosetta Martinez and Dudu Kirby, the only 2 drivers yet to score a point this season. The Constructors, of course, we already know. Mercedes are the Constructors champions. Red Bull have secured 2nd. There's no way that Racing Point can catch them. Renault in 4th. McLaren not too far away in 5th. AlphaTauri moving actually ahead of Ferrari, just into 6th in the Constructors. Alfa Romeo in 8th. Williams in 9th. Manor in 10th. And Haas last position in 11th. So, yes. And the driver of the day, no surprise, was given to Joseph Willis, a very well-deserved driver today for an exceptional performance. On another day, it could have been the race win, but 2nd position for him is very much deserved. So there we go. That was the Mexican Grand Prix, a dramatic race. And the next round, of course, will be the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix at Yas Marina, where we could see the Driver Championship decided there, but let's kind of hope not. Let's hope it does go to the last race in Brazil. But Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to like the video, check out our Discord, check out our wiki pages, check out our Twitter. Thanks for watching everybody, and we'll see you for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Goodbye.